Hey there everybody, my name is Sire with a C, and today I'm going to give you a review about Ant-Man, the latest Marvel movie. When I first heard about Ant-Man, about how they were making an Ant-Man movie, I was significantly underwhelmed. Ant-Man, I just always thought he was kind of a stupid hero. All he can really do is shrink and talk to ants, and that's about it. And meanwhile, I have to wait till 2016 to get a Deadpool movie, like the greatest hero ever. Just hate it. I hate it. But that's beside the point. So basically, when I first heard about the Ant-Man movie, I equated it to another Honey, I Shrunk the Kids sequel. I had my earphone in the entire time. Didn't have it in the beginning though. Now you're all gonna see behind the magic of video editing. Aww. Back to the topic at hand though. At first, I wasn't excited about the Ant-Man movie, but once the first trailer came out, I was a little bit more interested than I was at first. Here's why. I thought Paul Rudd looked like he would do a good job. He was funny, but it looked like he could also handle the serious moments of the movie just as well. Michael Douglas looked like he could be an interesting character. And from what I could gather about the plot from the trailer alone, I liked a lot that, like a lot, that they condensed it so it was just like more or less one laboratory that they had to deal with rather than saving the entire world. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'd find it incredibly silly if the entire world's fate was in the hands of a man smaller than an inch. It just be silly to me. It is it's a guy who's probably could hide underneath a leaf. Yeah, that guy. That guy's gonna go places. So basically, by this point, I'm thinking, this movie might not be completely awful, but I'm still not so optimistic that I'll enjoy it. And that's basically the mindset I had as I entered the theater to watch it. By the time I came out of the theater, I realized I was so wrong about this. I loved it. I loved it a lot. The reviews, they're mostly mixed to positive. I don't know what's wrong with the mixed people because I thought it was great. It was hilarious. My Paul Rudd, who played the main character, Scott Lang, Ant-Man, he was great. He was funny. He could play the serious moments just as well, though. His friend, played by Michael Pena, every single word Michael Pena said in this movie actually killed me from laughter. My heart stopped with every single word he said because I could not stop. I could not breathe from all the laughter. It was that funny. I might be exaggerating a little bit. Just a little bit. I mean, maybe, just maybe your heart won't stop. Maybe. Maybe. But back to the point at hand, the fight scenes were great. There was a little bit too many jump cuts, but not so much that it ruined the fights, and it was kind of necessary since the fights tended to be small man versus giant man. So you kind of had to switch points of views for the fights to make any sense at all. And the acting was all great. I loved all the actors, even the ones that I didn't like before the movie. Paul Rudd did great. I did not think a guy who's only done comedies this entire time could do serious that well. I mean, he wasn't perfect, but he did it pretty well. Michael Douglas was unsurprisingly good. Even Evangeline Lilly and Corey Stoll, who I wasn't big fans of before this. I didn't even know who Evangeline Lilly was before I looked it up on Wikipedia right before I said this part. And Corey Stoll I only knew from a couple other movies and a show I watched, The Strain on FX, which he doesn't do very well in, even though he's the main character. He's not really believable at all. But in this movie, he played the antagonist, Darren Cross, and I actually sympathized with him. I actually thought that, oh wow, poor guy, he clearly doesn't want to do this. He clearly just wants approval from his mentor, Michael Douglas, but there's something wrong with him, and I won't go into details about that because that might be a little bit of a spoiler. Not much of one, but I still won't go into it. Alright guys, here's your spoiler warning. Seriously, I don't want to see any complaints in the comments section about how I spoiled the movie for you because I'm giving you time. Okay, I'll wait a little bit. Okay. I swear, if any of you stayed and still complained about spoilers in the comment section, I'm gonna. Alright, let me just start off by talking about something I didn't care for about the movie. Evangeline Lilly's character, I could not sympathize with her at all. She had some bad things happen to her, but after the first bad thing that happened to her in her life, everything else was kind of her fault, and I just couldn't feel sorry for her. But and towards the end of the movie, she got a little bit better. I liked her a bit more, but at first I was just like, why would I root for this character? See, the thing is, when her mother died, Hank Pym's wife, played by Michael Douglas, when she died, Michael Douglas's character kind of became distant and didn't really act as a father figure anymore. And Evangeline Lilly's character, his daughter, was really salty about that. She never forgave him for it because she needed a father at that time, and so she betrayed him in the sense that when he refused to give his shrinking technology to his company, who wanted to use it for weaponry, she became the deciding vote in the vote to kick him out of his own company. And then after that, later, when Michael Douglas's protege, played by Corey Stoll, my antagonist, figures out how to make shrinking technology again, she comes back to Michael Douglas to ask him to help him steal it back, because they don't want that to become a weapon, which could lead to huge wars because it's the ultimate weapon, so on and so forth. But at that point, it's like, why did you get him kicked out in the first place? That just doesn't make any sense. And I'm not gonna say the plot's perfect, but this is one of the biggest issues I had with it. There's also the whole plan to begin with, how they needed Ant-Man to steal the suit, but I feel like there were other ways they could have done it. But that's a small thing. It's not that big an issue. And there are times in the movie where Michael Douglas's character doesn't let her go to steal the technology back in the Ant-Man suit, and she somehow seems upset about that because obviously she assumes that it's because he doesn't trust her. But really, how could you possibly be surprised about that? You completely and utterly betrayed him by kicking him out of his company for doing the right thing, as you obviously agreed that you came to him anyway later on. It doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know, things like that always bother me. Maybe I'm the only one, but if not, then you came to the right video. On to other topics though, like the fight scenes were great. Sometimes they were a bit hard to follow, but that's not surprising with a super small man the size of an ant fighting a large normal sized person. So obviously points of views would have to change frequently so you could keep up with who was doing what. So that's not particularly surprising, and it wasn't that bad either. They managed to do it well, and it was kind of necessary to follow the fight to begin with. And I think that's about it, guys. I don't really have much else to say. I really like the movie, and like I said before, it wasn't a perfect movie, like I made it sound in the beginning. But I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun watching it. And it does what I feel DC movies should do, in that it shouldn't all be serious. It should have some lighthearted moments. Something I feel like DC fails to do, because if it's all bleak, then nobody wants to be sad all the time. It's just something I don't like about DC movies, but that's the whole video. So, if you liked it, hopefully you did. My self-esteem demands it. Then please like and subscribe to the video. And peace out. Peace. Oh god. I wish I could speak English. And the earphone just keeps coming back.